first bit of winter weather, and even though it's sunny, it's the perfect day to sit inside and have some coffee with my creamer. I do like mine quite light. And take a look at this box of items. So I bought this item a while ago, and I have just been trying to find the time to do a video with it. Comes in bubble wrap, which I don't know about you, but I can rarely resist popping bubble wrap. But I'll save that for later. I can de-stress with a little bit of bubble wrap popping. Inside this little bag are miniature books. And you may have seen this online somewhere as well, but I just decided that I had to have this because it was so cute with these tiny books. All of these books have copies of what looks like the outside covers, and I'm going to post each book a larger picture on the video as we go, so that you can have a better close-up of what the fronts of them all look like. And I thought I could use my little skewer here to trace some of the books as we're going through them. This is a latched bookcase. It pops open. Get these out of the way so that we can put our books in the bookcase. Now, I have looked through these, and there are copies of a couple of these. There are also series of books in here as well. So as I go through each book, I thought I would give you a little information on each one. I looked them up and wrote them out so that I could have a reference for each one. So it's kind of like what you would find if you went into a person's home and they liked a particular genre, which most of these are youth, young adult books. There are some romance books in here, there are some thriller books in here, some horror books. But it's an interesting, eclectic collection. The other thing I found with a lot of these is most of these are movies or series on TV. So you may be familiar with a lot of these even if you haven't read the books. I'm drinking my coffee. Alright, let's begin. This first one is the fine print. Do it this way. The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, printed in 2021. summaries that you'll find on Google. So in the fine print, a billionaire acquires an interest in a new assistant, but texts her as someone else until she finds out. Okay, let's go ahead and put it inside our bookcase. Where should we start? Should we start on the bottom first? Okay, let's pick out our next one. Our next one is Stephen King, and this one is actually a multi-book book. So this one has 3 Stephen King books in it. Carrie from 1974, which is basically a girl who is bullied and takes revenge. We have The Shining from 1977, a hotel caretaker who goes to a remote hotel during the winter months, goes basically cuckoo bananas, crazy. And this movie is the famous Jack Nicholson. Then we have Salem's Lot from 1975, and that regards a writer who returns to his hometown only to find vampires roosting, and all of that goes with it. There's the back. Let's put this inside. Now this one is one of 2 books with this different covers. It's so one of the same book with a different cover. Let's see if we can find it here. So here we have 2 examples of The Old Man and the Sea. I'll show you those 2 covers. That's what the backs look like. The Marlin featured in different ways. The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. This is from 1952. A struggling fisherman has the fight of his life with a marlin and subsequent sharks. Let's go ahead and put these inside the bookshelf. Oops. Handling tiny books isn't easy. Put that in there. Let's see, the next one is The Icarus Show. The Icarus Show by Sally Christie was printed in 2016, and it says on the front, besides The Icarus Show, we have Can You Believe a Boy Can Fly? It involves topics such as bullying and friendship. This one is called The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. In 2022, a teen girl navigates a magical world with new powers, but must try and break a new curse with the help of someone she was betrayed by. I'm going to find the ones that are on my list so I can just go to them quickly. So this one is A Man with One of Those Faces. And this is by I'm gonna probably pronounce this wrong, and I apologize. But this is Cam McDonald, 2016. A man in Ireland teams up with a nurse who loves crime novels, and they also team up with a violent cop to solve a crime. Let's see. Here we have Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. This is the second book in the Hunger Games series. I think we have 3 or 4 books in this from the Hunger Games series. This was from 2009. And the main character, Katniss, the first book is finished, and she becomes a symbol for rebellion and hope. Let's see, the next one, I believe is this one. This one is called Heart of the Sun Warrior by Su Lin Dan, and this is from 2022. A young woman and her companions travel to foreign lands in search of ways to fight off new evils. This is the sequel to The Daughter of the Moon Goddess. There you go. Well, we'll just leave him there. Next, we have. There we go. Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. This is the third book from the Hunger Games series. This was printed in 2010. Time for the rebellion and war, with Katniss helping while trying to sort out her love life. You know, as a girl does. I'm not behaving. Okay, let's try to put those in there together. Next one. Close this up. The next one is Nightfall by Penelope Douglas. to a mansion set aside for rich delinquents are left alone together to explore their feelings for each other. It's more of a romance type book. This next one is an oldie. This was one of my husband's favorite books, and that is On the Road by Jack Kerouac, written in 1957. However, it appeals to a lot of younger people when they read it because it involves two men who travel the U.S. seeking out new experiences and new people. So if you're a travel bug, you may or may not want to read that one. Let's see. To see if I can find which one is which, because these books are very dark in this series, and I'm never exactly sure which one is which. This one is it. Eclipse. And this one is by Stephanie Meyer in 2007. And this is the third book of the Twilight book series. Well-loved series. So the love triangle continues, and Bella must choose which creature she loves the most. Time to make a choice, Bella. Quit dragging it out. See, then we have this one, which is a poem for every night of the year by Ali Asiri from 2016. This is a collection of poems from different authors, from classics to modern. I've not read this, but that sounds very interesting to me. I like a good collection of poems from different authors. But you'll have to look into that one. Here it is. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. We have a bunch of cuckoo eggs on the front in different colors. Just pretty fantastic. This was written by Ken Kelsey in 1962. And basically a man finds himself in a mental hospital, challenges the establishment, including a hard-nosed nurse, Ratchet. About have the bottom shelf filled there. The next one is another. So here we have Breaking Dawn. This is also in the Twilight series and is the fourth book by Stephanie Meyer, printed in 2008. Bella marries her choice, has a child, and has to make a serious choice to help save her family. I'll try and leave some of the spoilers out of it. I think we can fit at least one more book in here. Maybe two, we'll see. Next is insert. Oh, here we go. This Divergent. This is the second in the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. A teen in the future Chicago must navigate a war between factions while trying to protect her loved ones. The middle there. We will start a new shelf. This one might be it. The Big Sleep. And I believe you have this dark figure here. It's looking through a camera. It's on a tripod. This was written in 1939. A private investigator gets sucked into a blackmail case that spirals into murder and intrigue and all of the thrilling detective story type things. It's gonna need a friend to stay upright. Let's see. The next one is Ignite Me. We have kind of a greenish blue background and an eye. Some eyeshadow on it. This was written by, and I'm going to probably say this wrong, so I apologize, Tahira Mafi in 2014. This is the third book in this series, and I think we have the other two books here that we'll go through. A teen with a deadly power continues to take on the establishment. A lot of these also kind of have a theme of rebellion to them. I'm guessing maybe to appeal to a younger set. Young adults, teenagers. Let's see the next one. Oh, here we go. This one is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. This was printed in 1967 and had all kinds of acclaims. It tells the story of 7 generations of a family that had to emigrate and establish a solitary town because of some trouble, who are later found by the government and begin being exploited. Then destruction happens, as previously foretold. Now I believe we have a second one of this book in here somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. So same book, different cover. So we'll put those together in the bookshelf. Because for many book lovers, if they really love a book, they're going to have more than one copy of it. Or maybe they marry someone or partner up with someone who also has a copy. So then they have two. Let's see the next one. Here we go. This one is Uncross the Stars by Janelle Rhiannon in 2014. This pairs together an unlikely couple in high school who find out that, yeah, maybe they is Allegiant by Veronica Roth, and this is from 2013. And this is the third book in the Divergent series. Teens who find out the truth about their city once they make it outside have to deal with the truths that they find. There we go. They kind of make this nice sound once they're all together. Alright, our pool of books is getting smaller. Let's see, the next one is going to be... Here we go. This one is The Death Cure. And it is by James Dashner. This is the third in the Maze Runner trilogy, published in 2011. A teen and his friends look for a cure for a virus and face more deadly challenges. This one in on our shelf. Oh, here we go. Now this one is Carnival, and this is quite an older book. This was written by Compton Mackenzie, and it was also made into a movie. A ballerina falls in love with a wealthy man, an aristocrat, who basically won't commit to her and wants her to be his mistress. So she, in turn, marries a farmer, which the situation ends up turning tragic when the rich guy who couldn't commit shows up on the farm. Let's see the next one. Oh, here we go. This one is Alice Always by Harriet Lane, and this book was published in 2012. City landscape on there. This is about a bored editor who comes across a car crash of a wealthy woman and becomes involved with the family of this wealthy woman, and she decides to take advantage of the situation to maybe raise her own status in the social ladder. Let's see. Here we go. This one is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros from 2023. And this is the first book in the Empyrean series. It's called Fourth Wing Fly or Die. And basically it involves a teen who must go through intensive dragon training and dealing with the different groups of people in her own society. Let's see, we have... Okay, I believe that's what this one is. This one is called If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This is from 2017 and is a mystery novel about actors at an elite conservatory whose rivalry turns deadly. I have to use my... There we go. See the next one. Oh, here we go. This one is The Wedding Knot by Pat Roy. This is the third in an adventure journal series. This was printed in 2015 and is a romantic adventure that involves two Canadians falling in love and finding their courage together. I suppose the wedding knot happens at the end. We're just gonna stick you in there. There we go. This was an oldie but a goodie, and boy did I ever have the hardest time reading this. You'll see by the picture I put up. This is The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, and it was printed in 1900. If you don't know what The Wizard of Oz is, it involves a young girl who experiences a little bit of magic and ends up teaming up with three friends and a little dog to fight an evil witch and her flying monkeys. And they also expose a small charlatan on their way to try and find the girl's ride home. If you're not into flying monkeys, I suggest you avoid that one. Okay, the next one is Divergent. We've already covered a couple of these books. This is by Veronica Roth. This is the first in the series, the Divergent series. This was printed in 2011. And a teen in future Chicago must pick which faction of society to align with and confronts secrets she did not know about. I think we might have that shelf filled. We might be able to squeeze in one more. Yeah, we might be able to. Let's see. Next one. But here we go. One is The Pilgrimage. There's some mountains in the background. This was printed in 1987 and was written by Paulo Coelho. And this follows the journey of a man on a pilgrimage to prove his worth. See if we can squeeze you in there. Oh yeah, there we go. Alright, we have 2 shelves filled. One more to go. This one is hard to remember. Ah, there we go. This one was pretty hard to read too, just because of the font. This one is Sula's Voyage. It was written by Catherine Torres in 2016. A teenager goes on a journey to discover a family secret. Those families are like that, aren't they? Always holding out all the good stuff. Or the bad stuff. To read it to find out. Okay, this one's easy to spot. This one is Mrs. Dalloway. Older book by Virginia Virginia Woolf. Let's see, the next one. This one is The Maze Runner. We covered one of the other books in this series already. This is by James Dashner and is the first in the Maze Runner series, printed in 2009. A teenager who ends up having amnesia joins up with a group of boys and they must navigate a maze to survive. Here we go. The next one is Stephen King's Christine. If you're a big fan of cars, you might want to read that. So this was printed in 1983. It's a horror about an aptly named car being possessed and taking revenge on those around it. Next one. We have lots of this series of book. This one is Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi, printed in 2011, and this was the first in the series. A romantic teenage thriller. A teen with a deadly power and has to learn how to navigate and use them, and for whom she will use it. Because as you can imagine, a teen with certain types of powers would be exploited by certain groups. Oh, here we go. This one is Blood Run, Last Chance. This was written by Christine Doherty and published in 2013. It's the third book in the Blood Run trilogy. Survivors of a vampire virus try to save their remaining family and friends. Here we go. This one is Suddenly by Bonnie Bernard, printed in 2009. A woman with terminal cancer faces her final days with friends, family, and memories. That one sounds like a tearjerker. I have not read it. Oh, here we go. We have another Tahira Mafi book, Unravel Me. Another eye on the front. In this one, which was printed in 2013, it's the second in the Shatter Me series. A teenager struggles to control her deadly ability and navigate relationships. The next one is Silhouetted by the Blue. This one was written by Tracy L. Jones in 2011. A young teen is forced to take on family responsibilities after her mother dies suddenly while she's still trying to be a normal teenager. Oh, here we go. This one is Destroy Me from Tahira Mafi and was printed in 2012. This is basically 1.5 books in Anastasia's Mermaid was written by Essie Fox in 2012. It's a historical type novel about a teen with webbed toes that is sold to and abused by a strange artist. Here we go. What's this one? This is The Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas from 2018. This is the 7th and final book in the Throne of Glass series. It's a fantasy novel that follows a young woman being held captive while her friends try to free her. This one is Lord of Snow and Shadows by Sarah Ash, printed in 2003. This is from Tears of Artemon series, the #1 book. A teen learns he must morph into a powerful being to avenge the death of a father he never knew and rule his father's kingdom. Surprise, you're a prince and you get a whole lot more that goes on with that. To get this out, there we go. Place this in there. Of course they fell back over. Alright, we're getting down to it here. This one is called The Pearl by Tiffany Reese from 2020. This one is an erotic fantasy novel. An older brother tries to pay his younger brother's debt by becoming a hotel owner's lover, and chaos ensues. Let's see. It's this one. This one is called Crave by Tracy Wolff from 2020. A mortal teenage girl goes to an academy that is filled with immortals such as vampires, werewolves, witches, gargoyles, etc. See, we have another Twilight series book. This one is the Edward edition, Midnight Sun, from 2020 by Stephanie Meyer. The story of Twilight retold through Edward's perspective and his feelings toward Bella. We have just a few left. Let's go. This one is Goldfinger by Ian Fleming, printed in 1959. This is the 7th in the James Bond book series. In this one, James Bond uncovers a gold smuggling plot involving a heist. This one is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn from 2012. This one absolutely blew my mind when I read it. And I usually can kind of follow where books are gonna go, but this one had so many twists and turns that I was actually pretty surprised. A woman disappears on her 5th wedding anniversary, setting up her husband as the prime suspect. See if we can make some room to put some of these books in the top. Let's see, next we have The First Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, published in 2008. Dystopian teen named Katniss offers herself to take her sister's place in a fight to the death contest demanded by the upper class. Don't believe her. I don't know if we can fit another one in down there or not. Let's try. If not, I might have to put them on top. Ooh, if I do that, I'm not going to be able to get them back out. Let's try and slide them up here. Oh, there we go. Because sometimes you just run out of places with your bookshelf and you have to squeeze them in. Let's see, this one is Foreign Soil by Maxine Banaba Clark from 2014. This is a collection of short stories exploring the experiences of immigrants, refugees, and marginalized people around the world. That seems very appropriate for our current situation. Put you on top as well. I don't know if I can fit another one up there. Maybe we can fit it in another row. So this one is The Scorched Trials, written by James Dashner, as one of the books in the Maze Runner series, where they must go through more trials together after surviving the maze. And the last one is New Moon. Teen vampires and werewolves create chaos again. Here we have it. All the books made it into